In July 2025, the sky watchers of the Atlas project received a signal indicating the presence of an object unlike anything else in the solar system.
This object has some glow in front of it, not behind it. There is no tail, as usually is the case for comets. That's something that was clearly seen by the Hubble Space Telescope.
The third interstellar visitor in history, 3I/Atlas, entered from the depths of space at a staggering speed with no gravitational bond to the Sun, and its behavior shocked astronomers from the very first moment. No gaseous tail, no carbon signature, and no resemblance to the comets or asteroids we know.
And more perplexing is the fact that its trajectory is aligned with the plane of the orbits of the planets around the Sun. The chance for that happening is 1 in 500.
Now, right at the heart of this scientific controversy, Professor Avi Loeb, the man who years ago called ʻOumuamua artificial, says 3I/Atlas is even stranger. This is the third interstellar object in history, after ʻOumuamua in 2017 and 2I Borisov in 2019. But why has it become so controversial? Because Professor Avi Loeb, the prominent Harvard scientist, says it might not be natural, perhaps even alien technology. In this video, we'll first examine Avi Loeb's views, then the evidence from other scientists. If you're passionate about the cosmos and space mysteries, stay with me on the Astraeon channel. Let's first examine the nature of this object. 3I/Atlas comes from interstellar space, meaning outside the solar system. Its orbit is hyperbolic, meaning the orbital eccentricity is greater than 1, about 6.2, and it has no gravitational bond with the Sun. Its hyperbolic excess velocity is about 58 kilometers per second, which shows its speed at infinity and is much higher than typical solar system objects, usually less than 30 kilometers per second. This initial speed at infinity is distinct from the speed near the Sun, which can be higher. Its orbital inclination is also 175 degrees, meaning retrograde or reverse motion relative to the planets, and relatively close to the Earth's orbital plane, ecliptic, with about 5 degrees difference, a feature that reduces the probability of it being random, but not impossible. In comparison to solar system objects like asteroids, elliptical orbits with eccentricity less than 1, or Oort cloud comets, long period but bound to, the Sun, 3I/Atlas has no gravitational bond with the Sun and acts like a transient guest. This is the key difference. Solar system objects orbit the Sun in closed paths, but interstellar objects just pass through, and their speed indicates an external origin. Now, let's compare it to previous objects. ʻOumuamua had no gaseous coma or tail, but it had non-gravitational acceleration without evaporation, and its elongated shape was strange. 2I/Borisov was more like natural comets, with a gaseous coma and tail containing CO and water. But 3I/Atlas is somewhere in between. It has dust activity, but initial spectroscopy shows no molecular gases like CN or C2, typical carbon spectral lines in comets, although water vapor and hydroxide have been detected by Hubble. It has a weak coma and forward glow, not a rear tail, and the nucleus size is estimated to be less than 1 kilometer. These differences have led NASA and Harvard scientists to say this object could be key to understanding the origin of cosmic objects. But is it really not natural? Now, let's go to Avi Loeb's views. Professor Avi Loeb, former director of Harvard's astronomy department and founder of the Galileo Project, is one of the boldest scientists. He is the author of the best-selling book, Extraterrestrial: The First Sign of Intelligent Life Beyond Earth, and has focused for years on searching for alien technology. Loeb says science should not fear controversial hypotheses, but should examine data without prejudice. Previously, he said about ʻOumuamua that it might be an artificial light sail, and now he speaks even stranger about 3I/Atlas. Loeb argues in his recent papers that this object cannot be completely natural. Let's examine his main reasons one by one. Remember, these are Loeb's personal hypotheses, not proven or scientific consensus. First, spectral anomaly and lack of a complete gaseous tail. According to Loeb, 3I/Atlas has no spectral fingerprints of gas around itself, and explains that if it were a natural comet, there should be a fuzzy coma gaseous cloud and rear tail, but observations only show forward glow. He says, this mismatch with natural models makes us think of artificial technology like an object that artificially releases dust. Of course, this is while carbon gases were not identified, but water vapor and OH were seen by Hubble. Second, strange orbital path and proximity to planets. He considers the retrograde path and proximity to Venus, 0.65 astronomical units, and Mars, 0.19 astronomical units, improbable, and, according to Loeb, this might be a sign of deliberate guidance, like an alien spy or reconnaissance mission. The probability of alignment with the ecliptic is only 0.2%. Third, statistical argument. If natural, interstellar space must be filled with billions of similar objects for its discovery to be probable, this view is accepted in the scientific community and relates more to past detection limitations, not rejecting naturalness. According to Loeb, this statistical anomaly indicates something beyond natural, perhaps a technological artifact deliberately sent. He connects this to the dark forest concept, where civilizations might send hidden or hostile technologies. Fourth, possibility of hostile technology. In archive papers and interviews, he hypothesizes this object could be technology and even hostile, like a spy probe without radio signals to remain hidden. Loeb has even suggested missions for closer examination or even sending messages to it, and says, if these objects are signs of intelligent life, our view of the cosmos will change. He has created a personal scale called the Loeb scale, which is not an official scientific tool, and rates this object about 4 out of 10 for artificiality. These views are based on real observational data, but now let's see why most of the scientific community disagrees. Although Loeb's arguments are appealing, most scientists, from NASA to ESO, consider them overly bold and without direct evidence. For example, Jason Wright says Loeb has errors in estimating the nucleus size, which is actually smaller than 1 kilometer, and exaggerates the anomalies. Now, let's examine the evidence for naturalness. First, natural cometary activity. Hubble observations show weak coma and water vapor, H2O, and hydroxide, OH, although CN or C2 were not detected. This could be due to evaporation of hydrogen or nitrogen ices, not artificial spray. especially since activity started early at 6.4 astronomical units from the Sun. Second, orbital path. Proximity to planets is random but possible. Astrophysical models show that interstellar objects can be ejected from the Oort clouds of other stars. There is no sign of deliberate guidance. Third, statistical argument. Interstellar space is indeed filled with billions of similar objects, and discovering the third one makes sense with telescope advancements. Fourth, lack of hostile evidence. Without metallic structure, signals, or unnatural shape, the probability of artificiality is very low. 3I/Atlas is an exciting discovery that expands the boundaries of knowledge, but we must wait to see what happens in the coming days. More research and missions are needed to definitively understand what it is. What's your opinion? Do you think it's alien or natural? Write in the comments. If you liked the video, like it, subscribe, and hit the bell to get notified of more scientific videos. Thanks for your attention.